it's Vicky here. I'm going to do a few videos on back to basics of Wicca, which is going to be like a little bit of historical things like witch trials and all that. But first of all, I want to go into what is Wicca. Now, I did have a good explanation that I thought was a good explanation. First few bits were very good, and then it went into some stupidness. So, saying that you can't practice on your own. Now, I don't believe that's true, so I sacked that one off as soon as I got down to that bit. But I've actually got one that I originally found a while ago, and I'm going to read this one. I've not done this one before. Now, basically, this is what is Wicca. Now, contrary to what those who choose to persecute or lie about us wish to believe, Wicca is a peaceful, harmonious, and balanced way of life, which promotes oneness with the divine and all which exist. Now, Wicca is a deep appreciation and awe in watching the sunrise or sunset, the forests in the light of the glowing moon, a meadow enchanted by the first light of day. It is the morning dew on the petals of the beautiful flower, the gentle caress of a warm summer breeze upon your skin, or the warmth of a summer sun on your face. Wicca is the fall of the colourful autumn leaves and the softness of the winter snow. It is light and shadow and all that lies in between. It is the song of the birds and other creatures of the wild. It is being in the presence of Mother Earth's nature and being humbled in reverence. When we are in the temple of the Lord and the Lady, we are not prone to the arrogance of human technology, as they touch our souls. To be a witch is to be a healer, a teacher, a seeker, a giver, a protector of all things. If this path is yours, may you walk it with honour, light and integrity. So I'm reading this from someone else that's done this, but I actually quite agree with quite a lot that this person has said, so this is why I chose this one, because this is a very good one. Now, Wicca is a belief system and way of life based upon the reconstruction of pre-Christian traditions, originating in Ireland, Scotland and Wales. While much of the information of how our ancestors lived, worshipped and believed has been lost due to the effects of the medieval church to wipe our existence from history, we try to reconstruct those beliefs to the best of our ability with the information that is available. Thanks to archaeological discoveries, we now have basis to believe that the origins of our belief system can be traced even further back to Paleolithic people who worshipped a hunter god and a fertility goddess. With this discovery of cave paintings estimated to be around 30,000 years old, depicting a man with the head of a stag and a pregnant woman standing in a circle with 11 other people, it can reasonably be assumed that witchcraft is one of the oldest belief systems known in the world today. These archetypes are clearly recognised by Wiccan as our view of the goddess and god aspects of the supreme creative force and predate Christianity by roughly 28,000 years, making it mere toddler in the spectrum of time as we know it. Right, when it says Wicca, basically it's not Wicca that was that far back. It was basically paganism and witchcraft. Wicca was created by Gerald Gardner. Witchcraft in ancient history was known as the craft of the wise, because most of whom followed the path were in tune with the forces of nature, had a knowledge of herbs and medicines, gave counsel and were valuable parts of the village and community as shamanic healers and leaders. They understood that mankind is not superior to nature, the earth and its creatures. but instead we are simply one of many parts, both seen and unseen, that combine to make the whole. A chief Seatle said, "We do not own the earth, we are part of it." The wise people understood that what we take or use, we must return in kind to maintain balance and equilibrium. Clearly modern, with all his applied learnings and technology, has forgotten this. Subsequently, we currently face ecological disaster and eventually extinction because of our hunger for power and for pieces of gold. For the past several hundred years, the image of the witch has been mistakenly associated with evil, heathenism, and unrighteousness. In this person's humble opinion, these misconceptions have their origin in completely different places. To begin, the medieval church of the 15th century through to the 18th century created these myths to convert the followers of the old nature-based religions to the church's way of thinking, by making the witch into a diabolical character and turning the old religious deities into devils and demons. The missionaries were able to attach fear to these beliefs, which aided in the conversion process. Secondly, as medical science began to surface, the men who were engaged in this initial studies had a very poor understanding of female physiology, especially in the area of woman's monthly cycle. The unknown in the area played very well with this early church's agenda, lending credence to the witch hunters' claims and authority. The fledgling medical professions also stood to benefit greatly from this, because it took the power off the women healers away, giving it to the male physicians, transferring the respect and power to them. Unfortunately, these misinformed fears and superstitions have carried forward through the centuries and remain to this day. This is why many who follow these nature-oriented beliefs have adapted the name of Wicca over its true name of witchcraft to escape the persecution, harassment and misinformation. Basically, what I meant to say wasn't Wicca, was paganism, because Wicca is was created by Gerald Gardner, which a lot of you will know. So basically, they chose to call it paganism and all that to try and get away from the harassment and the misinformation associated with the name of witchcraft and witch, not to mention the bad publicity the press and Hollywood has given us simply due to generate a profit. Now, what is witchcraft? Witchcraft is a spiritual system that fosters the free thought and will of the individual, encourages learning and an understanding of the earth and nature, thereby affirming the divinity in all living things. Most importantly, however, is the teacher's responsibility. We accept responsibility for our actions and deeds as clearly a result of the choices we make. We do not blame an exterior entity or being for our shortcomings, weakness, or mistakes. If we mess up or do something that brings harm to another, we have no one but ourselves to blame, and we must face the consequences resulting from the actions. No ifs and or buts, and no whining. We acknowledge the cycle of nature, the lunar phases, and the seasons to celebrate our spirituality and to worship the divine. It is a belief system that allows the witch to work with, not in supplications to deities, with her intent of living in harmony and achieving balance with all things. The spells that we do involve healing, love, harmony, wisdom, and creativity. The potions that we stir might be a headache remedy, or a cold tonic, or a herbal flea bath for our pets. We strive to gain knowledge of and use the natural remedies placed on this earth by the divine for our benefit, instead of using synthetic drugs unless absolutely necessary. Wiccans believe that the spirits of the one goddess and god exist in all things, in the trees, rain, flowers, sea, in each other and all nature's creatures. This means that we must treat all things of the earth as aspects of the divine. We attempt to honour and respect life in its all many manifestations, both seen and unseen. Wiccans learn from and revere the gift of nature, from the divine creation, by celebrating the cycles of the sun, moon and seasons. We search within ourselves for the cycles that correspond to those of the natural world, and try to live in harmony with the movement of the universal energy. Our teachers are the trees, rivers, lakes, meadows, mountains and animals, as well as others who have walked this path before us. The belief creates a reverence and respect for the environment and all life upon the earth. We also revere the spirits of the elements of earth, air, fire and water, which combine to manifest all creations. From these four elements we obtain insight to the rhythms of nature and understand they are also the rhythms of our own lives. Because witches have been persecuted for so many centuries, we believe in religious freedom first. We do not look at our path as the only way to achieve spirituality, but as one path among many others to the same end. We are not missionary religion out to convert new members to think the same way as we do. We are willing to share our experiences and knowledge with those who seek our wisdom and perspective. However, we believe that anyone who is meant for the path will find it through their own search of the goddess, as the goddess speaks to each of us in her time and her way. Pagan practices tolerance and acceptance towards all other religions, as long as those faiths do not persecute others or violate the tenets of harmony. Now I'm going to tell you what witchcraft is not. Now, witchcraft or paganism and Wicca is not a cult. We do not proclaim ourselves to be spokespersons for the divine or try to get others to follow us as their leaders. We do not worship Satan or consort with demons. Satan is a Christian creation and they can keep him. We do not need paranoid creation of supreme evil and eternal damnation to scare us into doing the right thing and helping others. We choose to do the right thing and love our brothers and sisters because it is the right thing and it feels good to do it. And I suppose it's a maturity thing. We do not sacrifice animals or humans because that would violate our basic tenet of harm and none. Anyone who does and claims to be a Wiccan or a witch are lying. We have no need to steal or control the life force of another to achieve mystical or supernatural powers. We draw our energies from within, our personal relationships with the divine and nature. When it says here that we do not control the life force of another, this is where I totally agree with this, because you see people going, love spells. Fine. Love spells. Love spells to help you become more confident with yourself to find that other person. But to manipulate another person with a love spell to make them fall in love with you? Hell no. We do not use the forces of nature or the universe to hex or cast spells on others. Again, harm none is the whole big thing, as you know, in the Wiccan Read, which I will do a video on. Witches have a very strict belief in the law of three. Witches state that whatever we send out into our world shall return to us threefold, either good or bad. With this in mind, a true witch would hesitate in doing magic to harm or manipulate another, because that boomerang will come back to you eventually. But it'll be 3 times worse than what you send out. This is not to say that witches are perfect. We are human too, just like everyone else, and make mistakes and errors in judgment. Just as there are parents who love and nurture their children, there are parents who abuse their children. As there are many who devote their lives to giving and helping mankind, likewise there are not those who devote their lives to taking advantage of people and using people for their own gain. Unfortunately, the same flaws in human nature applies in the witches too. Most of us continually strive to consider all potential outcomes of our thoughts and actions, pausing to seriously consider the consequences before undertaking a ritual, spell, or rite that could go astray. It is when we follow the path with the love of the goddess in our hearts and adhere to the basic tenet of the read that our words are beneficial and we achieve harmony and balance with all things. The heart of a Wiccan is not something summoned up into a few short words, and can often take on different meanings to each, since the Lord and Lady touch us in different ways. To gain a full understanding of the craft, I would say read some books, go to different websites, watch other YouTube videos, and try and speak to different groups. I know there's a few moots that go on around. Through the wisdom and words set down through the ages, you will find that you are able to understand the basics of our beliefs and how we apply them, or you will apply them. Your inner voice will also quickly let you know if the intent of what you are reading is for the superficial purpose to benefit self instead of working to benefit the whole. Remember to read within your heart, for it is when you see life and the world with your heart and spirit that you truly gain an understanding of what Wicca and paganism is. Now, I don't know whether you've found this quite useful or whatnot. It's quite interesting thing about what is Wicca. There are many different versions of what is Wicca out there. You can go through lots of different websites and books, and they will all have different things. I would recommend reading Gerald Gardner, anything about him, because he is basically one of the main ones to read about it, or Scott Cunningham as well. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will be doing more. I will do one of a breakdown of the Wiccan Read and what my intake is of it. I did do that a while ago, but I really do want to go into that a bit more. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and bless it be.